Gather round, friends, it's time again for tales of treasure and gold galore. Exciting adventures are just a spark away, so settle in, let's brighten the day. Story time with Flash. Legends and tales that will take you back, from rivers that shimmer to the hills so bold. We'll dig up dreams and stories untold. Miners and mavericks on the adventurous trail have a tale to unveil through dust and dirt. With a flick of the wrist and a pan in the stream, history sparkles in every gleam. Story time with Flash. Legends and tales that will take you back, from rivers that shimmer to the hills so bold. We'll dig up dreams and stories untold. So grab your seats and let the stories flow. The past comes alive in that warm firelight's glow. Mysteries deep and treasures found. With Flash at the helm, we'll go round and round. Listen closely and don't drift away. You never know what delightful tales Flash will say. It's story time, let's embark once again on gold and the stories that...
Story time, rock! Well now, gather round, y'all. It's story time with Flash. Well, a fire's burning, the moon shines bright. Flash is here for a tale tonight. Legends, lore, and a miner's dream. Gold rush stories and crazy schemes.
It's story time, oh yeah!
Woo! Flash is bringing the tales to share. Ghosts, gold, and a little good luck. So grab your pan and don't get stuck. From the riverbed dirt to the mountain high, chasing that gleam with a gleam in your eye. Some struck rich, some lost it all, but every prospector had a ball.
Digging up gold or spinning a yarn,
we're rocking these stories all night long.
It's story time, oh yeah!
Come on now, Flash is bringing the tales to share. Digging up gold or spinning a yarn, we're rocking these stories all night long. Who's ready for a story? We are! Who wants some gold? Let's go!
Oh yeah!
It's story time, let's roll. Legends hotter than a mining hole. Flash is here, so gather round. It's story time live, let's shake this town. That's right, folks. Story time live with Flash.
Well, gather around, it's that time again with tales of gold and where it's been. From fame jumping ghosts to a miner's dash. It's always time live with your man, Flash. Flashing your pan, it's going live. Spin a wild tale and take a dive. Strike it rich or bust no time. Story time's rock tonight.
Hey, YouTubers and friends, welcome. I believe this is the very first live show since Judy and I redid the studio. Welcome everybody to my experimental series, Story Time with Flash, stepping out of my comfort zone a little with this. Welcome Mike, Mary, Mitch, good to see you in my live chat. Everybody, Mitch, Apocryphy. I've had the pleasure of meeting Mitch a few times. He's a very good friend with a very good friend of mine, Chris Price, aka King Prospector. We had a great time on the Wilson lease in Southern Ohio last weekend with Dano the Mano, King Prospector, and Apocryphy. They got some pretty nice gold. They were dredging. I was running a high banker, kind of, and just enjoying their time on the river. Jelly Bear was there also, another great Flash fam member. Great time, great time. Rob, how you doing, Monardo? Florida Thunder digging with Rob in the house. Good to see you. Rob and Charlie puts on a great show Sunday mornings. Awesome show, and I believe they have a Saturday show too on Charlie's channel. Great guys. Can't wait to meet them out swinging the beeper stick somewhere. You never know. You never know. It does happen. That's right. Charlie from Digging It Back. My mic was messing with. Answer Man, AUS. That's our friend Andrew from Adventure Gold. His old channel was great prospecting channel. It's great seeing you getting more prospecting on your new channel. Andrew, great to see you. Hobo Rob, Wild Gold Adventures, good to see you, Benzo. Who else is here? Mike Anderson from Utah. Downey's Detecting in the house. And Bob Drake, great seeing you. Great seeing you. Hello, hello, hello. This coming Tuesday, speaking of Bob Drake, this coming Tuesday, or counties detecting and prospecting. This coming Tuesday, uh, Tuesday Night Hangout Live will be live. It won't be an archive. It'll be my second, third update, and it will be after this year's Gold Rush Days at the beautiful Swank West lease of the GPAA. Judy and I will be there. We won't be on Vendors Row this year. We'll be able to walk around, maybe some speed canning, hanging out at the Common Dig or out in the river doing my own thing. You know how I like doing that. Welcome back out to Zamari, Rob, Y Gold. Good to see you. I'm sure Mr. Lodak and Y Gold would be bouncing back, hanging out with our friends over at goldprospectorspace.com, watching a little bit of Bering Sea Gold. Always a good time over there. What the F? Refund alive? I missed Yeti Mountain Prospecting, or I mean Yeti Mountain Trading. Sorry about that, brother. But where am I? I'm in my new studio that Judy did a bunch of great work into with me. Compliments of my job, Alexander and Eval, for a couple of new monitors and all the desks and cabinets. Of course, I had to remove them. There's a chance for a super chatter if you super chat for a quarter gram of gold or more gator tag from Bob. The reason why there's so many in the goal is shipping, and 30% YouTube and Google and Alphabet Corporation take right off the top. But I have a few stories tonight. I only want to keep this down to hour-ish, maybe a little over, and then I'll probably go hang out at Gold Prospectors Space and see what they're up to and bounce around some live streams. But first story tonight is the Devil's Nugget. The theme is cursed gold, Appalachian mystery, old time folklore. Deep in the Smoky Mountains, following the lead type thing. There's more in the theme and kind of description, but I'm not going to get into that. Second story will be the Quartz window, supernatural tale of gold fever mining widow's curse. Set in a mining town that no longer shows up on computer. The scenes on the ridgeline in Southern California. Story number 3, the compass that spun back. Isn't that a little like Captain Jack Sparrow's compass pointing in the wrong direction. Just maybe. Just maybe. Do me a favor, smash that thumbs up and share if you'd like. Sharon. I'm sure there's like a billion other lives going on tonight. So it is what it is. Sorry, I got nothing anybody says, but the theme of that story is a frontier mystery, a lost map, and time anomaly. A friend of a miner passed away and left me an old prospector's friend. With that being said, tonight on Story Time with Flash, Season 1, Episode 5, The Devil's Nugget 5. Inspired by Flashing Your Pan, prompting chat GPT. If the tools are out there, use them and learn how to use them. It can be a great tool. They say the Appalachians are old, really old, like much older than the Rockies and the Sierras and the Caucasus, but older than bones, older than sin itself, and they remember everything. And if you ask me, some of those memories don't stay buried like they should. Change my camera. Hope it don't glitches too bad. Glitch too bad. It glitched, so sorry. The story starts with the offhanded conversation I had with a retired park ranger named Bill Granger over some biscuits and black coffee just the way I would like it at a gas station cafe in Eastern Tennessee. We were talking rocks, old times, ghost stories. The usual prospector talk when he mentioned a place called Devil's Hall. Now, you'd be hard pressed to find that name on any current map, let me tell you. But old Bill said back in the 1920s and 30s, it was known as the finest gold producing region. There'd been a little rush, a few shallow shafts driven into the hill, and the usual promises of fortune, but then, like so many other things, it went dry or cursed, depending on who you ask. Joseph, King Gold, New York. Hello. You ever hear of a man named Rufus Lee? He asked me. I'm like, yeah, I had. Last fella to walk out of Devil's Holler with a nugget the size of a hen's egg, Bill said. come back to town to look at Rich, but his eyes, they didn't blink anymore. Man looked right through you. You know, spent the rest of his days sitting under a pine tree, talking to shadows. I laughed, but Bill didn't. He learned in a real close and said, where he leaned in. Can't even read my own stuff. I should proofread sometime. Oh, flying by the seat of my pants here, but he leaned in real close and said, that line's still out there, Ed. Never been officially sealed, just covered by time. And if you find it, don't be greedy. Take nothing. Leave it lie. Naturally, I did the opposite. 2 weeks later, I was deep in the heart of Devil's Hollow. Getting there was no picnic. Let me tell you. Dense woods, switchbacks, bridges, old growth, roots just waiting to trip you. I followed that little was left of the old mining road, which had mostly passed through. And second half was quite quick. By the second day, I came across the remains of an old hand-stacked stone chimney. You know, the kind that marked out old camp shacks, right nearby, half covered by a creepy moss and a creepy moss and vine, was the entrance to what looked like an old shack. Not attic. Just gaping black mouth in the side of the hill. It was smaller than I expected. Annie Stephens, I'll see you in Bear this coming weekend at Gold Rush Space. Yeah, it was smaller than I expected. Barely wide enough to squeeze through. Reminded me of some tight squeezes spelunking. Timbers holding it up looked intact and good still. I lit my lantern, carbide lanterns. You have to light them with sodium carbide in a little container with water and makes a gas. A lot of mine are used from back in the day. I left the trail marker behind. I don't want to have the wrong way of Feldman thing going on. And I crawled in. The air was cold and still. That must be in bed. No insects, no crickets, no dripping water. It's kind of surprising. Just dry silence. And the smell of old stone. The mine shaft opened up. opened into a small chamber, maybe 15 feet wide. Scattered along the floor were rotted tools, picks, broken handles, a rusted gold pen. Someone had left in a hurry, it looked like. That's when it spotted her. Half buried in the loose dirt at the back wall, tucked into a natural seam box, was a leather-bound box. Looked ancient, brittle, and inside it was a ledger. Pages and pages and pages of old-time handwriting. Shift notes, core yield, and one particular entry that sent a chill through me. Rocky Mountain Prospector, how you doing? It said, quote, April 3rd, 1931. Rufus found it. Big as a hen's egg. Black center. Said it called to him. Took it and ran out screaming. I sealed the shaft behind him. If you are reading this, don't take the nugget. Now, I've heard plenty of those stories before. Read warnings carved in tree trunks, painted on cave walls, or burnt in with the carbide dynamite. I've always thought, yeah, nice catch. Now, where's the gold? That's when I saw it. Nestled behind a slab of quartz was a dark, heavy nugget, maybe 3 inches across. This happened, but clearly metallic, gold, but not like any gold I've ever seen. It had a dark core, almost like obsidian, surrounded by a rough layer of bright yellow luster. And it pulsed in the lantern light, like it was breathing. Against my better judgment, I reached out and picked it up. And that's when I heard the voice. Not a whisper, not an echo. A voice inside my head. You found me. You found me. I dropped the nugget into the hit the ground with a gold thump. Heavier than it should have been. The air shifted. My lantern flickered. Then came the sound, the shuffling like bare feet on gravel just beyond the chamber wall. I spun around. See you, Annie. There, good luck. But then the shadow moved, not against the light, through it. The lantern glowed dim, like someone had stepped between the flame and the soul. And then came the voice again. You took what was promised. Backed out of that mine faster than I believed. Straight from my arms and knees raw. I don't even remember the hike back to camp. Just that I left everything behind except the lantern. You might keep glitching. How much could you not hear? Okay, back a little bit. How about now? Can you hear me now? Test it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me now? Ever since I sat back, that's when it went weird. Ooh, I think I brought them back to my studio. All right, good, good, good. Now where was I? Yeah, no birds, no wind, just silence. The whole holler was holding its breath. I followed my markers back out, at least I thought I did. But they were all facing the wrong direction. Remy playing practical jokes. Like someone or something had flipped them while I slept. By the time I found my truck, I was bleeding from 4 different cuts, and my teeth were shattered. I swear I'd imagined the whole doggone thing until I looked down and saw the devil's nugget sitting on my truck's hood. How it got there, I'll never know. Once it goes wrong in the world, I never touched it again after I dropped it. And I buried the lead box, locked it away in a crawl space, wrapped in a sage of rock wall. And every now and then, usually near a new moon, I hear that voice in my dream. You found me. As I wake up with dirt under my nails, and that's the end of story number 1, The Devil's Nugget. I need a boom mic. I got my Blue Yeti right here. Got my boom, my shotgun mic over there. Maybe I'll try that next time. How's the sound, everybody? That is a nice way of putting that. It has the big mouth. Good now? Thank you. All right. The Quartz window. You ever walk into a place and feel like it's been waiting on you? Not just anyone, but you. That's how I felt the first time I saw the room. St. Elora Ridge, up the lonely stretch of dirt, switchback into Southern California, high above the desert shore, sits the remains of a town that's been dead for over a century. The GPS stops working about halfway there. The air gets dry and thick like something pressing down. I wouldn't have even known about the place that the hurt for a man named Henry Clark. Now we are married, birthday twins. I met Henry at the Rock and Mineral Show in Arizona. He was older, real weathered, wore the wide brim hat. With the ribbon of a raw turquoise stitched into it. Most folks cast him off as just another eccentric desert rat. But when I struck up a conversation, he told me a story that looked just right. I found a vein, Flash, he said. Quartz like you've never seen. Pure white, spotted web with gold wire, and it's under a church. Or that, or what's left of them. On the ridge above St. Elora. That's right, Mary. Coming Monday, 24 days before our B-Day. I asked him what what there's always she sounded like company, he said. She leaned in real slow. Like he was afraid of someone might hear. The next week I met Henry at a trailhead 2 hours off the main road. He looked like he hadn't slept in days, pale, shaking. eyes ringed with red. But he was determined to take me back to the ridge. We hiked the old trail in time. The further we went, the quieter the desert got. Again, no birds, no breeze, just the sound of boots on gas and the crunch of hard grass. Around dusk, we reached what was left of St. Laura Ridge. Nothing but scorched embers collapsed through crumbled church fire, reaching towards the stars like broken fingers. The town had burned sometime in 1890, according to the little research I had done. Accident, lightning strike, no survivor. Henry led me to what used to be the foundation of the church. There behind a pile of collapsed stone, he uncovered a narrow industrial workshop, hidden half caved and raised with old timbers darkened by smoke. It runs under the ridge, he whispered. Follow the left floor. I asked if she was coming with. She didn't answer. Just stared past the empty road. I dropped in on it. The shaft was tighter than I liked. Cramped, every sound echo. About 50 feet in and open into a chamber. Streaked with veins of pure white quartz, flowing softly like a knife. Embedded in those veins was gold. That place, wires, twisted strands that ran like roots through the rock. I've never seen anything like it. I now knelt down, chipped the sample, and that's when I heard it. Ruby's voice saying, soft, mournful, kind of sun that sticks in your brain. In your mind, even though you've never heard it before. But the air was suddenly cold. And mine was started to, my cap started to weep moisture. Like the mountain itself was weeping, was spreading. I should have left then. The gold. Oh, good Lord, the gold. The was calling. I took one swing with my rocket into the vein, and that's when I saw her. Pale figure, white dress, long black hair that hung like curtains over her face. She stood at the end of the tunnel, still as a stone. Then she started slow and steady. Her bare feet making no sounds on the gravel. Henry said, "I wouldn't be alone," I mumbled. She stopped, tilted her head slightly. And continued. I stumbled out of that man like a lizard on fire. I stumbled out of that mine like a lizard on fire. Scrambled, scrambled out of the mine like a lizard on fire. I was a little more prepared when I first wanted to do this about 3 weeks ago. Been terribly busy. Terribly busy. Outside, Henry was gone, vanished. I searched for hours, called his name. Henry! No answer. The trail was then cut. His pack still sitting next to the fire ring. And dead. I ended up spending the night in the shell of an old post office, trying to stay awake. But at some point, exhaustion took over, and in my dream, she came to me again. Only this time she spoke. You took from the earth. You took from me. Now I take from you. I woke up to find my sample pouch gone, just gone. My boots were wet. The fire was cold. And there, scratched into the suited wall, covered wall of the post office were the words. She waits beneath the porch. I made it back to town 3 days later. A week passed, then 2. I couldn't reach Henry. His phone disconnected. No email, no nothing. Then I got a letter, no return address, just my name written in handwriting that didn't look human. Inside the envelope, the quartz and gold sample and a small faded photo, black and white, curled edges, taken sometime in the 1890s. It showed a young woman standing outside of St. Eloy's church, pale dress, long dark hair, black veil. Behind her stood 3 men. There were miners, and one of them looked exactly like Henry. And in the corner of the photo, almost hidden in the shadow, scrawled in old ink, "The widow never forgets." I've never gone back to that ridge. Some say the ghost is just a story to keep folks from chasing cursed gold. But I know what I saw. I know what I felt. And if you ever find yourself in the high desert, and someone offers to take you to a place too rich to be real, ask yourself, what is gonna cost? Because some gold is tangled with grief, and the quartz widow always told us the quartz widow. I'm getting choppy. Choppy? I'm fading. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Goodness sakes alive. Goodness sakes alive. Wave at me if you can hear me. Tell me how good. Is the music in the background too loud? All right. Story number 3, the compass that spun backwards. Not all treasure is made of gold. Some of it is time. Once in a while, if you're lucky or cursed, you might find a place where the two are bound together so tightly that either one wants to let you go. This starts after the funeral of an old friend, Nick Hadley. Nick was one of the last real deals. Tin prospector I knew. Rough, funny, stubborn as a mule in a thunderstorm. And sharp as a shard of quartz. Or even a shard of obscenity. We'd worked a few claims together over the years. Swapped more stories than I could count, and even pulled a couple honest nuggets out of the ground along the Rio Grande. Howdy, Caleb. How you doing? Full of gold. Rick didn't have much family when he passed. He left behind a rusted metal trunk filled with old gear, rocks, journals, and one very peculiar item, antique brass pencil. It was heavy, ornate, and long, because when I held it in my hand, it didn't point north, it spun. Slow, smooth, counterclockwise, like a clock ticking backwards. There was a note taped to the inside of the lid written by Nick's crooked old hand. For flat, if you are reading this, then I didn't make it back. Don't trust the compass, but follow it anyway. Underneath the note was an unfinished map. Ruins scribbled with landmarks I didn't recognize, peaks, arrows, a phrase scratch near the top, the turning place. I spent the next 2 weeks obsessing over that compass and map. I ran it past a historian, a geologist, even a physicist. Nobody could explain why the compass spun the way it did. Eventually, I packed up my rig and followed the map into northern New Mexico. High country, fine ridge, and misty plateaus where there is no cell service. Cell service goes and dies. The trail led me to Pleasant Park. I followed faded logging roads, game trails, and finally bushwhacked through the thick underbrush until I emerged into a high open meadow. It was quiet, too quiet. At the center was a cracked stone slab covered in moss. It looked like it once held a monument, but whatever it honored was still unknown. That's when I noticed something strange, peculiar. Everything around me, grass, trees, shadows, moved slightly into blue. It wasn't obvious at first, just a sense that the wind blew before the leaves rustled. That bird song echoed before the call. When I checked my watch, the second hand stopped. Then it backward. I don't scare easy, but I've never felt anything like that meadow. It wasn't just time running thunder. It was memory, emotion, my own past pressing it on me. I set up a small dig site at the edge of the meadow, just for curiosity. Figured I'd pan the little creek that trickled out from the edge of the rock. That's when I found it. A small, thin snapback, sealed tight, buried behind 8 inches down. Oh, buried maybe 8 inches. Inside, a crumbled photograph of a young man and a woman laughing, holding hands, standing next to a mule loaded with beer. The man was mixed, younger, happier, maybe 30 years old. The woman, I'd never seen her before, but there was something tragic in the photo, like joy frozen just before the fall. On the back was scrolled, Alina, the last time we smiled. And that's when it hit me. Nick had never talked about anyone named Alina. But in his last years, he sometimes felt quiet, stare into the distance, say things like, some things get lost deeper than gold ever can. Pardon me. The compass spun faster that night. The stars overhead seemed to dance in the infinite track. And in my dreams, I saw Nick standing in that same meadow, holding Alina's hand. He looked at me and said, "You found it." I just wanted to, I just wanted her to laugh again. Just one more. I woke up to find the compass still spinning. Only now it was slowing and slowing. And how it pointed, not north, but directly to a small outcropping at the edge of the meadow. I followed it, found a second stone, flat, buried under a pine needle. I brushed it off and carved into it, painful, unmistakable. Alina Hadley, 1942 to 1971. You turn time backward when you smile. I stayed there until the sun rose. Then I buried the photograph in the snuff box back where I found it, sealed it up, said a few words. I'm not sure even I understood. And as I walked away, the compass took one last counterclockwise turn, then pointed true north. It hasn't spun since. I keep it on the shelf near my pager display, and every now and then I see the reflection of that meadow in the glass. Nick once said that gold is just the earth's way of remembering. I think sometimes memory itself is the real treasure. So I'd like to thank you all for joining me tonight. I have a little sticker pack that I'd like to give away. And you have to be here. No secret words or nothing. Just be here, let me know. Looker was here. Mike Anderson. Are you still here, Mike? Mike, are you still here? Mike, are you still here? You have 1 minute to reply. But in my new studio, I have a panning station here now, right to the left of me with the light and camera above it. Sunday I'll be panning some pay dirt from Indiana Creek gold from Brian. See what kind of shiny is in his bag. What happened to my phone? Look. Strange. Strange. Mike Anderson, are you here? Is anyone here? Says at least 4 people. No? Yes? All right. Well, he hasn't replied. So I'm going to put something with, if you would like to get in on the sticker pack, I'll show you. There's one from Gail's channel, Archaeology and Gold. One from Kevin's channel out of Southwest Oregon, Gold Hunter 77. Then there's Jason, Golden Skull Prospecting out of Colorado. Then there's a magnet from the Alaskan Assassin. Hey, Careless, how you doing? Also, I check out bear prospecting in any. Oh, shoot. I'm having a brain fart on Annie's last name, Careless. But Matthew is in ICU. He's part of the Tri-State chapter community down in southern Ohio. And the young man could really use some prayers. Stephen, thank you. Annie Stephen, she was in the room earlier. She sat in that cab. But just say some prayers for Matthew, Matt, and God knows, Annie Steffens and Bear Prospector. Yes. Thank you, Carlos. I knew it was something like that. We have a couple of stickers from my friend Megadog555. Then, and now this is kind of a collector's item because Spike Littlejohn no longer makes prospecting equipment. He turned over to the dark side of golf, of all things, flipping old man school. Then a sticker from Robinson Prospecting Equipment and my friend Eric company with his Featherlight Sleuth, his faithful slogans, just lose it. Got a last season Tuesday night Hangout Live stickers. I'll have to get some 8-year stickers before too long. Then a couple different sizes of my channel stickers. Looks like I'm going to be sending it to you, Careless. Okay, let me redo it, though. Because it's going to catch you. Still not. Doggone it. Let me refresh. It's not case sensitive. No, it ain't working. Doggone it. Careless. I think I have your address. But, okay, there it is. Weigel got in there. I'll give you all a minute and 11 seconds to get in on it. Cleaning up your gold. Excellent, Careless. You're in there, Careless. You and Rob. No worries. Careless. You and Aaron should come to Belleville, Butler, Ohio to the Swank West property. I know you've been there. I'm sure you've been to both the Swank East and the Swank West for Gold Rush shares this coming weekend. Annie will be there, Brian will be there, I will be there, and my friends Nailed It Detecting and Ohio Metal Maven and all kinds of other people and cool out of state weekend at Aaron's birthday. We will be out of town. Going to Georgia or out west to mom's. That's cool. Totally understand. Maybe next birthday. Maybe next. I need to get a hold of Aqua Donkey stuff. Maybe Dan the Man from PA. He seems to get around. All right. Oh, it's either you or Rob. I know next year, hopefully, we got to meet a lot more folks. That'd be nice. I've been extremely busy with my job, so extremely too busy. All right. Well, good luck, Rob. Good luck, Careless. The world's smallest chicken. Why gold? Rob, I might have your address too. I'm sure I do, but I'll get that from you over at Gold Prospectors Space or Facebook or something. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out for a little bit. Menardo's still here. Thank you. I'll be panning some dirt from my friend Brian at Indiana Creek Gold. I'll be panning it right here and not out in the shed, so I should have a good signal. And this coming Tuesday is my third vacation update on Tuesday night Hangout Live. Thanks for joining me tonight on my very first live stream from my new studio. Love my lurkers. Love my friends that I've met or have yet to meet. Thank you all for joining me. I think I'm going to head over to Gold Prospectors Space, our Bearing Sea Gold Thread. Brian Wilder's in the house. Good to see you, Brian. Better late than never. I think I'm heading over to Gold Prospectors Space for a bit. Talk to my friends over there. And Tyler's over there. Huh. Okay. Cool. All right, everybody. Until next time, may you always have a flash in your pan. And you know what I like to say because it does happen. Ask Brian Wilder from American Gold Prospectors. Because maybe one day too. Oh, you on the river. But right now, this very, very second, I'm out of here.
Well, the fire's getting low and the tale's been told. Another journey through time, through legends of old. From the rivers so wild to the mountains high, we've seen golden glory and the stars in the sky. Till next time, keep the story rolling. Let the echoes of the past keep the night wind blowing. Adventure's never over, it just takes a break. We'll be back real soon with more tales to shake.
So rest easy now, let your dreams drift wide, where the rivers run deep and the spirits ride. Flash, I'll be back, just wait and see, with another good tale round the fire with me.